small turnout here. We'll do it just nice and cozy here. And then I'm sure you all know why you're here. This is Terry Notary. And,
Hi guys.
and I mean, I don't even know where to begin because, Avatar, the Planet of the Apes trilogy, the Hobbit movies, King Kong, the Avengers movie, Silver Surfer, Incredible Hulk, The Abomination, and then the upcoming Lion King, which is interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can talk about that or not.
Yeah.
But anyway, I thought what my first question or first observation I was thinking when I was looking at your career and stuff was the term, I wrote it down, movement coach.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what, has it changed? Is it a new term now? Or they get, I guess sometimes they use choreographer? It seems like they can't settle in on what exactly the term mocap, but sometimes you're doing much more than mocap too.
Yeah.
You think they're going to settle? Is there a guild? Is there a guild for that yet?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I work under an acting contract, and it's such a vast range of things that I do when I'm working with this. When a director brings me on, they say, "Can you work with the actors and help develop these characters for them, and really figure out and collaborate with them on what it's going to be, and refine it, and make it really, have a strong signature." And so it's basically directing, but you're a liaison between the director and the actors. So you develop a relationship when you're working with these actors that you really, you become close, and you start to really, you jam on ideas, and you have a good line of dialogue with them, and a lot of the things that I do is we'll start from creating a neutral blank slate. Because a director, or an actor would come in, and they carry what I call the blueprint of their experience of their life, right? So everyone has their own personal blueprint, and your experiences that you've been through in your life define who you are, right? And so you've got habits and certain things that are trigger fear, and fear management is a huge thing that we work on as for actors, because fear is one of those things that creates tension, and tension is the worst thing for an actor because it limits the vehicle of expression, the way how much you can express. Because as actors, all we are is energy receivers and emitters, right? We just receive energy, we emit energy, and if you have tension through fear, it's like putting layers over yourself that are protecting yourself. We protect ourselves from pain.
Is there any type of fears?
Yeah.
Or just the fear of
failure, not being good enough, not fear of fear itself.
And especially when you're going this far out with a movement character that has a very extreme type of movement, that's a fear. Even though actors, you would think an actor would want to, has a fear of exposing himself, but you're saying that those barriers are there.
See, what happens a lot of times is actors pretend that they're not afraid, and so the fear is there, and they're pretending they're not afraid. So it's like this, it's not real.
So you want to knock that out.
So if you come to terms with what your fears are, which is the most base thing, then you can actually go, oh my God, I'm manifesting this fear in myself, and it's not even real. And so I'm giving this thing, this idea, power, and it becomes something that proves me right when I say I'm going to mess up. And so as actors, it's like life. When I work with actors, I say, this is not about the movie. It's about you becoming more aware of who you are as a person, so that you become a better actor, and then the movie benefits. It's like it's a win-win for everybody. And when they take it with that set mindset, then they're willing to go, okay, I'm going to let go of all my tricks and all the things I'm famous for, and not play the same character that I've been playing for the last 2 or 3 movies. Because a lot of characters and actors they've got this thing that they're good at, and they're afraid to break out and do something completely different, because they're famous for those things and they're liked for those things, and those are the things they're good at. And so when I work with them, I just tell them the truth. absolute truth. I'm not there to be their friend. I'm not there to win their heart or anything like that. I just tell them absolute truth and what I see, and then they're like, oh my God, you can see that? Everybody sees it. And that's because everybody does. They just don't say anything.
Right.
So once you come to terms with your habits and things, and then you say, you let it all go, let the self, the identity, the person who you've become, the idea of who you are, shed away, and what you're left with is blank canvas. And then you can create a character for real by figuring out what that character's past is, what its history's up, what its blueprint is, and bring those things up. And then undo and allow those things that are not pertinent to the character to just dissolve away.
What happens if you are a person that can't get to that blank canvas? You just then say, okay, I just gotta live with it?
Keep working.
Keep working.
Keep working with them. And you can get to a certain layer, and then sometimes there's a block, and it's just like there's no going past that. But I don't give up. And it's pretty intense. I mean, we have 6 weeks together usually.
Yeah.
So it's pretty heavy duty, and they get to the point where I'll just call it out one line, nope, and they're like, oh, going back into my thing again. There, you're in it, allow it to happen. And it's all about fear. It's always about fear. It's always about, oh, I gotta do this tricky thing because it's like this is what I'm good at, and this is what people like me for. But once they understand that doesn't look good, and that's not a good thing to do, and that being real and vulnerable and embracing the fear. You take fear and you go, I'm gonna feel fear because if I don't, I'm dead. And everyone feels it. It's just how you assimilate. If you take it and you go, yes, you allow that to fuel you into the next action, that's how you utilize the energy of fear, which is your best fuel as an actor. But if you go, oh, fear, oh, people are gonna notice, oh God, okay, hide it, mask it, then you're in your head, and your head starts talking to you, you mess up. And then the fear says, okay, see, proved you right, you were right, you were gonna mess up. And so that's the biggest challenge for actors, is to undo the voice of fear and to embrace it instead and just go, yeah, give it to me, come on, bring it, yes, fuel me into the next thing because I know where I'm going with this, and I'm going to be aware and wide because I've got a wide peripheral, and I'm going to be able to utilize all the little happenstances that might come up rather than being pinpoint focus in this fear-based, narrow mind. Yeah.
And you're doing this with the entire, all kinds of cast members. The biggest is
yeah.
the small,
Yeah.
one's in the background sometimes, right?
Yeah.
About 6 weeks of rehearsal sometimes.
Yeah. So I worked with Josh Brolin on Thanos and Mark Ruffalo on the Hulk and the whole Black Order on the last Avengers and all
Well,
those films.
Brolin's movements, really,
Got it down to being simple.
yeah.
No affectation. No tough guy. No,
Yeah.
anything posy would just ruin it. And so he had to play this character that was absolutely right in his mind, that he was doing the right thing.
And you probably got him he'd already done a little small bits before you got to him, right? And
We started day one together, but I told him, like I said, okay, this is how I think you should do it. You should play it absolutely straight, not as a bad guy, but as a good guy.
Yeah, exactly.
In your mind, you are the noblest person in the universe. You are doing the
I'm doing a good thing. Yeah.
For everyone. And he said, I love it. I love it. We're gonna play it simple, we're gonna play it rooted, but he's got this gravitas that comes from knowing inside, deep, and this conviction that is so true to him that you kind of like him. You can kind of identify with him. And you go, you know what? The guy's actually not a bad guy, but he's doing horrific things. And so, yeah.
Here's a question about that, specific on Thanos. Now, when you you're gonna do this character, do you read any of the comic books or any of the character stuff of him, or do you have somebody say, here's a
They give
profile?
you, well, yeah, Marvel gave me tons of research material and how to crank, it's
Right.
everywhere. So, and I do a lot of my own research. I'll take a week and I will just do everything.
I get to read comic books.
Interviews and look at things and read look at images and figure out what poses are beautiful and creating negative space and really try to pay homage to the source material, but at the same time create something that's new and able to be that the audience can identify with and project themselves into and go, that could be me. I can see myself as that character, and so I can identify, I can sympathize, and I can relate to what it's like to feel like that.
So it's so crazy because I was a teenager when Thanos first appeared, and I have my own interpretation.
Yeah.
By reading the comic books and the artist, how he moves and how he
Yeah.
thinks. But I never thought about, wait a minute, how would he do this in a live action setting?
Right.
And that's your job.
Yeah.
You go, okay, look at this with your own ideals and fuse into it, and then go to Bro and say,
Yeah.
what do you think about this?
Yeah.
And I'm sure you're the director too. Are you okay then with the director? Or,
Yeah,
or are you
we had
pretty
a
much
meeting
just,
with Brolin and the Russos first, and at first Josh was like, oh, I don't know if I'm gonna be, I don't know, I've never worked as a movement choreographer before, I don't know. And then I said, well, I'm only here for you if you need me. And he's like, well, I do want to work with you. And I was like, okay, well, I'm here for you, or not. And he's like, we're working together. So he didn't quite know, but then when I said, okay, that's fine, then you want to do it. So, and then we jammed. We just became really good friends. And he's really amazing actor.
well, it's cool to know that you did, because it's early. Thanos' characterization and his movement and everything. It's just fantastic. And it's a lot of that's to you.
It's
great.
simple, simplifying. Anytime it was like, up, it's just take the pose and simplify it. Internalize, make that thing more important than you. When that is more important than you lose this. And this is like life too. It's like when you make the things outside of you more important than yourself, you stop looking at yourself and thinking about yourself. And then you become beautiful and interesting to look at. Like when you're so engrossed in the things that are out there, you become interesting. Because that's when you're not thinking about the self.
Right.
As an actor, it's the worst thing is to be thinking about how you look, when you're performing, but to lose yourself in what you're doing.
Yep. Let's go back up a little bit, because here you are in these major blockbusters. Did you ever think you'd get there? You were a gymnast, as under fire the first. This is where it started, basically.
Yeah.
I'd say that was, and then you went to Circus du Soleil, and that's where somebody, Ron Howard, spotted you.
Yeah.
So how long were you with Circus du Soleil?
I did that for 5 years.
5 years.
Yeah, so I was a teeter board, Chinese poles, fast track, trampoline, tumbling, all kinds of stuff. I was an acrobat.
In Vegas or
In Vegas.
Mystere?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was in the original cast of Mystere.
Oh, Mystere, right. So then Ron Howard happens. He's going to do this live Grinch movie, and he sees you, and he said, "Did you have any idea what he was wanting you to do? How did he approach you and say?"
Well, they said, "Can you send a video? Because Ron Howard is interested in hiring you for a movie." I was like, "Well, okay. Well, what do they want me to send?" They said, "Well, anything acrobatic." So I said, "Send him the video." The next day they called me and said, "He wants you to come to Los Angeles." And we were living in New York at the time. And so we're like, "Perfect. Let's go back. Let's move back to California." We were ready to move back in. So my wife and I said, "Let's do it." And we got on set, and he said, "Here's Louisville. Play. Come up with as much stuff as you possibly can, and video. And every day, every week, at the end of the week, I want a nice compilation of everything, the best stuff you've come up with, and we'll put the stuff that I like in."
And you only was what he picked?
It was me and 3 other guys. 3 other cert guys.
Okay, gotcha.
And so we were just jamming and having fun, teeterboard, Chinese bowls, and basically the extras started coming in after we were there for about a month. And I didn't know anything about protocol with, I was from the circus, so I was like, I'm gonna help everybody figure out how to move like a hoop.
And
Because I've been thinking about it, and they're all like, I'm gonna be like this, I'm gonna be like, I wanna go like that. You know? I was like, hey, you guys, we should all get together and come up with something that feels like a common gene pool, so that we have a common denominator, that we look like we're the same species, and then you can go off and become your own character.
Where you found the cartoon?
And yeah, sure, I was studying that,
Okay.
researching. But Ron Howard was walking by and said, "What's he doing?" And I was like, "Have him come to my office." Oh, you guys were like, "You're busted. You are in trouble." And I was like, "I'm gonna get fired. I'm gonna get fired. I can't believe this." So I went in and he's like, "I liked what you were doing. I want you to teach all the actors I saw. It was really good stuff, and I want you to teach everybody."
Oh, he saves the day.
I want to create, And so let's call it Hoop School. And I was like, great. It's like, make a list of whatever you need, and we'll give you an entire soundstage. And so I was like, trampolines and unicycles and packages and conveyor belts, and it was all there within a week. Spring floor, and it was Hoop School. So I started my career as a movement choreographer, because I didn't know what to call it. So I called myself movement coach. And then
so that was your turn? Which
I called it movement coach.
That's
and then some other people were calling themselves movement coaches. And so I was like, I want to be different. So I'm going to call myself a movement choreographer.
Yeah, there's so many. There's so many. I guess I don't know what the time is, because I have so many questions I could ask you. But you guys have some questions first. So if it's okay with you.
Of course.
Anybody have a question out there? I guess.
No, you're doing great.
Oh.
We just like hearing it.
Okay, that's fine, because I wanted to go. How was it being Tim Roth's stunt double?
Oh, it's great. Tim Roth is a friend of mine, and we became close on that film, and he's just a cool dude. He's
Did you train him?
Yeah.
Okay, so basically you kind of got you. So basically you probably, since you're his stunt double.
Yeah.
I guess you're just making a mirror image of each other.
I was copying his walk that we came up with, and it's perfect.
Oh, you like this walk?
Yeah, he did great. He just had this like Tim Roth's action.
He come to you with it?
He kind of walks like that.
Yeah,
It's kind of this like. So, and so it was great, and we were the same exact height, and our eyes are the same color and the same width.
Okay.
So when we put the makeup on, his nose is quite bigger than mine, so I had a big, sort of a foam block on here, and then his makeup fit me perfectly. And people thought they couldn't tell us apart. People would be like, which one are you?
Did you have any fun with Tim?
I was like, fuck off, mate. I just go to him and say, I just told someone to fuck off. I thought it was you.
So did you play around with Tim? Try to fool him?
Oh yeah, it was fun.
I'm a big. I love studying directors and film directors and their styles and auteur theory. But,
Yeah.
Which ones are of all the different directors are some more hands-on and some more?
They're all so different.
Yeah.
Everybody's so different. It's kind of like the father of the family. A family is totally different, and it's governed by the father and the first AD. The first AD is the one who's like,
running around.
Okay, everybody, let's get everything ready, blah, blah, blah. The director's kind of waiting for the first AD to gather everybody. It's just kind of like the mom, right? It's the dad and the mom, right? And you've got the kids running around and the crew. It's like running a ship, really. I mean, when you're on a film, it's like you've got your captain, the first mate, crew, and then the passengers, which are called actors, right? And so everybody runs the ship a different way. Some people are screamers, and some people are just super gentle and calm and quiet, like the Russo brothers. They're just classy and quiet. When I had a meeting with them, they said, I just so you know, it should be a really nice show because we have no asshole policy. We don't have any assholes on our website.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, so this is great.
Did you, Kevin Feige, did you see him much at all?
He's on set a lot.
I got the feeling he's
very hands-on,
Yeah.
really smart. And
Yeah.
he's just that perfect combination between nerd and good filmmaker.
Right, which is
And,
important.
and a people person with actors, you know, so he likes to, he's a genius, and I think Marvel would be half as far as without him.
It seems like, of course, you get tagged for a lot of apes. But do you like, is there, if you had your preference, do you like just keep on doing a lot of apes, or do you like doing the different things?
We do different things.
Yeah.
I do like doing the Apes films. I mean, Rocket's a great character. I love that character so much. It's the best version of me, and it's what I aspire to be, that character. So, but I do like stretching things. I just played a dog in a movie called Wild, and that was a totally different mindset and big stretch. I was really nervous about it.
Live action,
It's live action, but the dog is
Oh,
yeah, so
wow.
it's Harrison Ford is the owner of the place.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's coming out at Christmas. But, that was really fun to kind of go somewhere totally different with it. I think I'm going to work on a movie where I play a mouse. So,
Interesting. What about, now you go from the apes to King Kong.
mhm.
Did you go back and watch the original at all? Or, you watched all the different ones?
Yeah. It's good to watch things that are wrong, that don't work. You know, and go, okay, ooh, that's good to see. You know, you learn more about what not to do.
Even King Kong versus Godzilla?
Yeah.
Did you watch that one? Wait, the Japanese rubber?
They're bad.
Yeah.
But it's good.
Yeah, they're fun to watch.
It's good.
Yeah.
You know, because you learn like thickness and gravitas are so important with big, heavy-weighted characters. You know, the gravitas comes from. It doesn't come from playing heavy. It comes from dropping back and in and down, and then you can really. It took me a while to get calm, but once I found that it was this sort of triangle, for me it was a triangle of weight that was here. So my intention was sort of at a 30-degree angle down until he starts to become awakened and grow into purpose. Because he's basically I played a 14-year-old kid with the weight of the world on his shoulders who lost his family.
True, you get a much bigger backstory than Kong we've ever had before.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah, it was good.
But a big icon in history, movie history. Do you feel the weight of that at all, or you just don't just get that fear out of the way?
Definitely, but didn't come in with any of that. Heck, couldn't, you know. Just like try to open up.
Were you a kid? Did you like these kind of movies, or were you just an average moviegoer, a kid?
You know, I never ever thought I would be in the film industry. Even when I got my first job on the Grinch, I thought I got to work on a movie that was cool, and I went off and I started directing my circus shows again, and then I got a call to do Ape School, and then I was like, oh my god, I get to work on 2 movies. This is cool. And then they asked me to do X-Men and work with the cast of X-Men, and then I was like, oh my god.
Was that X-Men 2?
Maybe I should do this as a career.
Yeah, was that the first X-Men or X-Men 2?
X-Men 2.
Did you?
So I worked on the opening sequence in the White House.
Okay.
With Homecoming and
Oh, well,
Yeah.
doing all this.
Nightcrawler and
Yeah.
all this stuff.
Yeah, that's an amazing sequence.
Yeah. So it's all that.
Did you help out on the when they attack the mansion? When
The
these
Attack of the Mansion.
they all wake
Was
up the
Alan
kids.
there?
I can't remember.
No,
It's
I
been a
only
while.
worked with Nightcrawler.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that makes sense. Oh, yeah, I didn't think
Yeah.
about that. Because you got how does Nightcrawler move?
Yeah.
So-
We did this sort of liquidy, kind of everything kind of melded into itself like smoke. It was kind of like
Yeah, because
he could disappear and sort of having this have this sort of infinite feeling of when he moved, it was kind of appear and never quite come to a stop, never have a hard stop. It was always like, it was always dissolving like ink in water kind of a feeling.
it's just so amazing that there's so many probably Marvel comic book fans that don't even realize that you have this really cool job of saying, hey, how do these characters move? You know, Nightcrawler, that,
Yeah.
and how about Silver Surfer?
Yeah.
How was that?
Great.
Was that a?
Great. Doug Jones played the Silver Surfer in the suit. He had the like, he's really lean, and so they put a muscle suit like over his body with everything, and so he looked amazing in the suit. And then I get to do the motion capture.
Motion capture.
All the surfing.
But yeah, I guess you did. Did you have to? Did Doug come up with his own movements, or did you have to? Did you guys work together?
Yeah.
Good?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and he's a good mover, so that was all about really just finding this sort of like, you know, it was like kind of, it was like he was in space.
yeah.
It was like he almost needed to feel otherworldly, but still be relatable, you know? Like he was in space at all the time, you know? And never had this like, what? You know, I've never had any kind of immediate sort of thing, but he had this vast sort of expansiveness to him. Yeah.
What can you tell us about the Lion King? What's going on with that?
It's going to be a beautiful movie. It's going to be amazing. It's all CG. Everything is even, but it looks live action. So, I mean, the animals look CG, but the sets and all the environments, they look real.
Are you playing characters, or are you just moving coach?
I did. I played. I did some a lot of reference for the animators, and they all came in and I was in the mocap suit. They recorded it all, and Favreau would just say, "Okay, now can you be this character? And do that. And you do that. Okay, more. Now add a link to it. Okay, cool. Oh, that's great. Get it? You guys? Okay, good. Let's move on to the next character." And so we kind of run through some characters that way, and they would go, okay, there's the parameters, that's what we want. And so that's, it kind of sets a guideline for the animators when they go to actually animate characters.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then the Hulk, you're actually playing, you're working on Hulk and Abomination, so you're actually facing off with each other.
So I had a buddy of mine that was a stunt guy, and he's the same size as me, and he's tough as nails. So I hired him to come on and fight with me. So okay, now I'm gonna play Abomination. So he'd be the Hulk, and I'm saying now I'm gonna play the Hulk, so he'd be the Abomination. And we basically tried to choreograph fight sequences, and we choreographed stuff, and it came up, and it was like you look back, play back, and it just felt choreographed. And so I just said, we have to fight each other. We just have to go for it. So we ended up just really fighting each other, like going hard as we could. Rolling, throwing, you know, we weren't hitting each other, but you know, you never knew when a hit was coming, and that's the stuff that made it in the movie. So it felt rough.
Jumping out of the spiral, have you guys, any of you seen the movie called The Square? Yeah. So you want to describe this? It's a French. It was French. Or is it Belgian? It's Brussels. French.
It's Swedish.
Swedish.
Yeah.
And it won the Palme d'Or. This is the highest award at the Cannes Film Festival. And Terry here has actually got top name billing on the poster, and you are the poster itself. You are the main character on the poster. Can you kind of give a little taste of what your scene is on that movie?
Yeah.
It's really, I would recommend if you're a big Terry fan, you need to see this sequence.
Well,
the whole film.
It's funny because Ruben Östlund is a pretty amazing director. He's a Swedish guy with a really different way of seeing the world. And he likes to shoot things from one angle and just let a whole scene play out from this really cool kind of angles and stuff. And he said, he called me up and said, you know, I want you to be in my movie. Will you do it? And I didn't know who he was. We FaceTimed and we just laughed and had a great time talking to each other. So I was like, I don't even know what you do, but I'm going to do this. I like you. And so he's like, great.
And he had seen you
out next week.
And he'd seen you in a video doing the gorilla. I think you Google search
That's
people doing monkey apes.
Yeah, impersonator. And so he said, I want you to terrorize this this awards banquet. So I was like, that sounds fun. And he said, how do you feel about doing the scene naked? And I was like, no. My heart just dropped, and I was like, oh, I'm freaked out, but I'll do it. I'll do it. Because I'm scared about it, so I should overcome that fear of being naked. And so
It's a foreign film.
I talked to
Most
my
parents
wife.
would
I
say,
said, honey, I'm gonna have to do this. She's like, really? I'm God, everybody's gonna see you. I'm like, yeah, but I'm afraid of it, and I have to overcome that fear. So, long story short, we did a photo shoot on camera as the character, and I was naked, and it was really uncomfortable. And so I was like, I went up to Ruben, and we were all uncomfortable. And it was like, I said, Ruben, do you really think I should? It's going to be all about being naked, the whole scene. It's all going to be like, oh, he's naked, he's naked. I think I'll be naked enough as the character, wearing something. And he said, I think you're right, let's do that. Wear those sweatpants that you have on. Take your shirt off, take your shoes off, that's your costume. So that's how my costume was. The sweatpants I wore to a rehearsal is what my costume was. And so it was like, that's how we came up with it right there, on there. And so he said, let's rehearse something. And so I walked to the banquet room, there's all these empty tables. I walked around and I said, I need people in here, we need people. And I'm just gonna react to them. So let's not even rehearse, let's just wait till we see what they do. So I improv the whole thing. Walked in, he said the doors open, my heart was pounding, I embraced the fear, I walked into it, boom, I just went, I'm just gonna torment people. That person doesn't want to be tormented. I'm gonna go to her. It was like, and so it was all people that did not want to be picked that I picked in the film. And there were, in between takes, you get some, I call them extras, but they weren't extras. I found out later they weren't. They were real art people. They were billionaire donors and
Oh my God.
dealers and all like the lady I was throwing water on that whole time is a billionaire donor. He's like, yeah, that was great. Crazy. Dude, you should have told me. He's like, no way. You wouldn't have done it. I know. And so anyways, yeah, we just improv'd. And it was fun. Dominic, I said, hi Dominic, nice to meet you. I'm gonna chase you out of the room. He's like, this is great, we don't know what we're doing or not doing. I said, no, it's whatever we're gonna do, we're gonna go for it, so let's do it. And that's how it turned out.
And when you jump on that table, boy, you can feel the room just like, oh boy, what's going on?
Mm-hmm.
But there's on the DVD or Blu-ray, I assume I'm gonna have to go get my Blu-ray to upgrade. But there's a featurette on here. It shows him going through the 3-day process of this scene. It's just amazing to watch this and they're getting rid of that fear and doing that. And you use these are the
yeah, these are the arm extensions. I just brought them in so I can show you guys what I used.
Oh, cool.
These are them.
So where did these come from? How did these work?
I developed these for a film called Attack the Block that
Which
was
is a great film.
London. Yeah, these were the arms that I used on playing that creature, and we just turned them into complete. These have been all over the world now in jungles and streets in New York, and Chicago, and the jungles of like.
Just keep on repairing them and
Like,
so making some new ones. You're just gonna keep on fixing them.
I can't throw my babies away. they last. So they're made out of carbon fiber. They're 11 layers thick, and they're really fun to work on too because you can like. I'll show you like a couple little like. You got your first position neutral here. So that's like an 8 block. Here's an 8 quad. Everything's sort of circular and round. And then I played a dog, Paul Wild, and dogs have this like. The mouse? I have no idea. I'm scared.
Yeah,
it's gonna be good.
Yeah, I mean, notice that you got quad walking, you got trot, and you got
quadruped run and then trot and then
that's what made three
quad walk. Yeah.
So I mean, you made those for the creature in Attack the Block. So how did you think? Oh, these would work for apes.
These will be perfect for apes. Yeah. So.
Had anybody ever thought of that before?
Yeah.
Of course, there was ever a chance to do that kind of ape before you.
Yeah. I mean, not that I know of, but I've refined these down to. And now I have a a single mold that I do 2 pieces. It's one mold, and they marry together, so it's, and I'm going to market them.
Oh,
So
yeah.
people are going
Definitely. And that's
to
what you-
be able to buy them. Just I get a lot of requests for people when I do workshops. I have about 20 pairs, and everybody wants a pair at the end of the day. So we're really fun to play with.
And his daughters, are they,
Yeah.
are they a little smaller ones, or are they the same
Yeah,
size?
it's like this.
In Rampage, his daughters are some background apes. Gorillas in the movie Rampage. And there's a video out there my nephew found it for me, and it shows them talking and doing little sound bites.
That's cool.
Yeah,
Oh, I didn't know that.
It must be. Maybe it's from the Rampage Blu-ray, maybe.
That's cool.
I don't know.
That's on like Fox.
Yeah.
Or Fox too. Yeah, but it was really
That's
cool.
cool. They did all the kid apes in the last Planet of the Apes film. So they did all this stuff. Kids in school, and then kids in the little community. So there was 4 of them who played that.
Curious about some. You got a producer credits on some. Well, I don't know if you want to talk about these films or not, but I understand you may want to get into more independent filmmaking.
Yeah.
The Lost Tribe, the Forgotten Ones.
Yeah.
There's just some
Was
small.
that buddies?
Buddies.
Buddy,
Yeah,
I was helping him out.
Yeah,
But it was fun. It was a dangerous movie, actually, being honest.
Which one?
The Lost Tribe.
The Lost Tribe.
Yeah, because we were in Costa Rica, and it was just, no mats, and I was doing ratchets in the trees from the back of a truck. The guys were like, hooking up a wire to the thing and launching me to the trees on a wire, and they're like, and go,
Not many producers do that. So
So
you're
low budget.
Yeah, so you're different hats.
Yeah. And he's like, I'm gonna give you a producing credit on this. Okay.
Oh, I gotcha.
So it was one of those things.
Yeah.
I am directing my own movie this year. So Andy Serkis is gonna play the last Neanderthal, and that's the name of the film.
So Andy and you have this relation. I didn't know if Andy, are you guys good friends?
We're best friends.
Best friends, really?
Yeah.
Yes.
We've done 10 films together. So.
Right, and he's directing himself. I
He's
saw
directing.
his film first.
Yeah,
That was
and Mowgli, I just was at the premiere the other night for Mowgli. I secondly directed for him, so it was.
And that was supposed to be a theatrical run, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
That's
It's
what
2 weeks. Yeah,
Right.
it's a really good movie too.
Now, is it a direct follow-up of the last one, or is this a completely
It's
standalone?
it's the Jungle Book, but it's more about Mowgli, and it's a darker version of the Jungle Book. There's no songs, and it's a real scary movie. It's really good.
So how you directing Andy? That'll be interesting. That's
Well, we jam. We don't even talk now. It's like we've done so many films together. It's just like, hey, more, yeah. It's like, got it. It's like that. Yeah. We talk.
So,
Go ahead.
about Andy then,
Yeah.
were you both kind of getting into the business separately, or did you help bring him into it, or vice versa? You just both happened to be following similar paths?
He did it way before I did. He played Gollum and Kong just before we met on Tintin. So I was brought in to choreograph the whole film, and he was playing Captain Haddock. And so I was like, hey man, I heard all about you. He's a super nice guy, amazing, and we became acquaintances on that because I was working with all the actors. He didn't need any movement training for that character, so I was just working with the actors around him. Long story short, Apes comes around, the first Apes, Dawn, Rise. And we started working together. And I'm like, hey. So then we became
language, I guess.
really close. Yeah, that film was really cool. So we're like, let's make this a good movie. Because everyone was like, good luck, here's your little budget. And Fox kind of blew it off like, just some of you do it. And they didn't give us any extra money or bonus, time to fix anything. And they thought it was gonna be a flop, and it wasn't. So the next one, we have more money in the next one. Yeah, and so long story short, we've done 10 films together, and we keep wanting to work together. So it's great.
I'm gonna write that down. 10 films. What about these TV series like Dr. Sleep or Lovecraft What do you do on the Lovecraft?
Ooh, I just played a really creepy character on that.
Have you
I
read
wish I
it?
could tell you about it.
Have you read much Lovecraft? Or did you read some Lovecraft?
I did, as for reference,
Right,
but it was a $30 million budget for a pilot,
Wow.
a 1-hour TV show. $30 million. It was like, I've never been on a TV show like that, ever. And the creatures are going to be very scary. Very good.
And then another one that came back from the Village was The Village. What kind of movie would you choreograph for The Village?
M. Night brought me on to play the creature.
Oh, okay.
The creature, and so
Duh. Yeah.
it was that.
Okay.
So I got in that suit. It was heavy, awkward, weird. It was like 200 pounds of like wood and fur, you know, it was like this big giant thing. And then I had to match the height of the actor. What's his name? He played the piano. He was in the piano. Yeah, was it?
Adrian Brody.
Yeah, Adrian Brody, yeah. So I had to wear platform shoes and lifts. And they're like, run fast, you know. Trying to run in these heels. It was torn. And there were wooden wedges that they just said, here, cram that in there. Get your foot in there.
Like a product, there's no mocap going on with that. Right?
No,
you're just
it
totally
was a costume.
costume.
Yeah.
So are you still bouncing around, or would you rather just stay mocap and teaching, or would you rather get more?
I usually teach and play a character when I'm on the film now, which is my favorite thing to do.
Are we going to see like just a plain Terry in a film?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Are you looking forward to that?
Yeah, I guess. I don't push. I don't even have an acting agent.
Well, I'm sure that
I don't audition.
with you and Andy, I'm sure they're just coming to you, aren't you?
I guess. I mean, I should have an agent, but I don't. You know, and but the work comes and I'm busy, so I'm like, okay, well, I don't need an agent now, but oh yeah, a show stops and I think I should get an agent, and then I get another job. So it's kind of like, you know, I'm not a real like promoter myself.
Well, like I said, it's a very unique position to be in. I think the work that you do, the quality of work you and Andy both do, is just that it speaks for itself. I mean, and you just start rattling off the directors you've worked with.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Spielberg, Cameron,
Yeah.
Burton, the Russo brothers. It's just an amazing run there. Ron Howard.
Very blessed.
Are
Thank
you
you so much for that.
And is it too soon to say, or can you talk about, or we're getting to a conversion?
Oh, Converse, yes. That's in the works.
Are you already signed up for that, or
I
your
don't know if
contract?
I'm going to have time to do it.
Oh,
because
really?
I'm going to be directing, so.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Because the next
I
guy's
wish I
like,
could split myself in half.
so the person playing Kong in that one's gonna have to look at your movements.
I guess.
Hopefully, and then
I'll probably end up being a movie.
no, I know you can't talk about. I know you can't talk about Avengers. That's
Yeah.
top secret. So I know better than that.
Yeah.
So I don't want Marvel coming down on me. But what else I wanted to talk to you? The Cabin in the Woods, the clown.
Yeah.
Did you? What was that like? I love that movie. I think it's really.
It was funny. I mean, they called me in 2 days before everyone showed up on set, and all these creatures. I don't know if you've seen the movie, but they had like 50 creatures on the movie. People with like, you know, knives sticking out of their head and blades coming out of their.
Do you know the premise of Cabin in the Woods? Everybody?
Yeah. I mean, it was a very gory set. I mean, there were 5-gallon jugs of blood that they were just throwing on the floor, and then had ballet dancers whirling in the blood. There was a little 10-year-old girl walking in her, you know, point shoes. Where am I supposed to do my dance? Over there in the blood puddle, honey. Don't slip. It's so slippery. We were afraid she was going to eat it. She was lying on her back in her little gown. And they had horses running through, this unicorn running through the hallways. It was crazy. And so I was basically just trying to wrangle all the creatures, and if they were high-lit, work with them really quickly. And then they asked me to play this clown. And so I was like, okay, yeah. So I go get the makeup chair. So I come back, I'm running in on set, and I walk by this one girl and she just drops to the floor. And I was like, oh my God, are you okay? And she's like, ah! I was like, oh my God, I'm the one that made her drop. I'm not trying to help her up. This is so wrong. It was terrible. I think was so afraid of clowns. And she had to leave.
So all those creatures in these cell, in the little compartments, they broke loose at the end.
Yeah.
That's all you helped.
That's all. Yeah.
All those
That was
were.
all.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. It was a big job.
I guess we should mention you're playing your adolescent group. That's teen group. So how was that?
Fun.
Trying to find.
Fun because it's like I was just playing my kids. You know?
Yeah.
15-year-old daughter, so I'm just like, honey, what do you think I should do with group? What? I'm busy. It's like, that's perfect.
So, but anyway, I think we're almost out of time here.
Yeah, we got something.
About 4 more minutes. So the last question, here's your chance to get Terry's devoted attention. Any other questions or any observations?
Planning on coming to Chicago anytime soon for a con or?
Chicago, no, I wish I was. I love that city so much. But I was just there for Lovecraft. Yeah. We were filming outside. In Lincoln?
Lincoln Park?
Lincoln, like, out in the cornfields.
Oh.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so far, like 2 hours outside of the city. Yeah. So, but I love Chicago. I wish maybe I'll do a workshop there or something.
We
Great,
would definitely be there then.
Yeah. The workshops are fun.
I want to end with here's one last question. Metropolitan Opera.
Mm-hmm.
You worked with Pagliani, I can't remember, and Domingo.
Yeah.
You did.
Yeah.
How was that?
Incredible. Really cool.
Let the people tell me. This is a metro.
Pavarotti did the Chinese opera. Yes.
Iron Butterfly.
It's slipping my mind.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I should know too.
But his most famous aria is High C. I was playing a soldier, right? And so he has to swipe his sword, so I have to run into some round off side flip. So he flings his sword, cuts me down, and I'm like, 3 feet from him, and he's singing his most famous aria ever, and so it's standing ovation every night, and I'm just like chills from it,
Yeah, I would almost think you always be distracted. You can't do your own job because it's just
crazy.
Yeah.
And he would, the curtains would go close, and he would have 2 people come out and help him off stage. And he would barely make it off stage. He could barely walk.
Wow.
But he could sing his heart out. It was crazy.
That's amazing. And so that was early on before the movies all came.
Yeah, that was.
Circus Soleil helped you get that job too, I guess.
Yeah, I was in New York. I was. They hired me because I was from Cirque.
So, but I mean, he's worked with great opera singers and great movie directors, and we're going to see hopefully some great films from Terry yourself in the future. We're looking forward to that.
I'm looking forward to that too.
So let's give it a big applause.
Thank you.